Hey, so hello, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining me today to discuss your experience in the Ayurveda Life Mastery Program.
Yeah, hi Tracy. How are you?
Hi, Jennifer, I'm doing great, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing good. Sun's
Good.
out.
Sun's out. We're always happy and humbled when the sun is out.
Yes.
So, Jen, I asked Jennifer to do an interview with me today so that the students, potential students, can get an idea from Jennifer's perspective of her experience with the school, with the Institute, because Jennifer's been around the Institute since pretty much its inception. She was in the second class of students that went through, and she's actually the first graduating class of the practitioner program. Jennifer was a part of that. So, and she was one of the first practitioners to graduate from the Institute. So Jennifer has definitely helped to build the school by maintaining her presence in the school, whether it was through taking all of the various courses, whether it was the Ayurvedic massage program, aromatherapy program, the facials training, the self-care immersion, all the various programs that we offer, the practitioner, the herbalist. A few times she went through the herbalist program. She's done the Ayurvedic living / now it's called Life Mastery program a couple times now. She's also helped as a supervisor over the years with some of the different groups that have gone through the internship process. So Jennifer has a lot of experience with the Institute and in its courses and miscellaneous instructors over the years. And she's also gone on to establish an Ayurvedic practice that she calls Madre Illumination Healing in Bayside, California, where she offers Shirodhara and Ayurvedic facials and Reiki, amongst other things. And she also has launched an Ayurvedic product line, an aromatherapy product line based on the concepts of Ayurveda called Amrita Botanicals. So she's really gone on. She's a great inspiration to those of you that are considering the program. So she's really taken Ayurveda to heart. She's really embraced it. It's become a part of her. So I wanted to just drop in with Jennifer today so that everybody could get to know her more in the community of Leon and to learn from her experience. So Jennifer, if you want to maybe just start us out with, before you got into the Life Mastery program, and even before Ayurveda came into your life, really, where you can kind of think back, kind of putting yourself in the seat of the students where they might be, where they have a lot of questions and kind of fears around, oh my gosh, is this for me? Is Ayurveda for me? So if you could just kind of place yourself back in that time and let us know where were you in your life at that time? Like what was going on with you in your physical body? What was going on with you? Let's just start there actually. What was going on with you in your physical body before you came to Ayurveda? How was your health?
I think thinking back to that time, I didn't think that there was too much wrong with me, but now looking back, I can tell I definitely had constant pain in my lower back and my right hip. Even though I did lots of yoga, it never really would completely go away. And I had trouble with energy levels. Midday, like 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I always had energy crash. I would just get low energy, be really tired. And then I would kind of get this boost around 10 o'clock at night and then stay up till like midnight, and then it would be hard for me to fall asleep. And I think I had, I know I had anxiety about different things in my life at that time.
And if you could, Jennifer, would you mind walking us through what are the things that you think brought relief to your lower back and hip and shoulder pain? Just even starting with that, kind of walk us through those different things you just mentioned, what's helped you.
So definitely the Ayurvedic massage, warm oil massage on that area. I think having a regular daily routines with finding a early sleep time and keeping to that schedule, an early wake time, keeping to that schedule, a yoga practice or just exercise in general, stretching, all those things have helped. different medicated oils over Ayurvedic oils that I've used over the past 10 years have helped.
And which oils specifically have helped you? Is it ones that you've made from the aromatherapy that you've learned, or is it the traditional oils?
Both. The Mahanarayan oil definitely helped with joint pain early on. And then I've made some other, just oils of my own mixtures, but definitely with anti-inflammatory properties.
Great. So that's helped a lot with the physical pain. You mentioned even before, that's interesting because you were doing lots of yoga before, but even taking life up a notch, so to speak, merging the sister sciences as they need to be merged in a sense, that brought you the next level of relief then.
Yeah, because I was doing lots of yoga, more yoga then than I do now. And I just couldn't get any relief from the pain in my lower back and hip. And now I don't have really any lower back pain either.
Congratulations. Yeah. Would you say that some of that had anything to do with dietary shifts, more anti-inflammatory diet that you've been on with the Ayurveda, or did you notice that affecting it at all?
I'm sure it did. I think it was a culmination of a lot of things that I've learned from Ayurveda. Definitely moving things out of my diet that did not work with me. I guess we call vata reducing foods. You know, a lot of those foods I've taken out of my diet, or learned how to eat them appropriately and not consume them regularly in my diet, I guess I should say.
It's interesting, isn't it, how what a big effect it has when we learn with Ayurveda that it's not what you do once in a while, it's what you do every day that makes or breaks you. So that, because I know a lot of people, myself included, when it came to Ayurveda, I thought, I can't be so perfect. How can somebody live like that? But it's really when you actually learn Ayurveda and start studying and applying Ayurveda, that's one of the principles, like what you're doing every day makes or breaks you, right? So it's like, you can have your cake and eat it too, I guess, because the idea of, you know, we learn how to antidote and things like that, or like you said, the fact that, you know, antidoting is basically when we eat something, and I'm saying this for the community here, when we eat something and we know that it's going to cause a certain problem, so we eat something else with it, whether it's an herb or a spice or another food, etc., the way we prepare it, so that it's less detrimental to our constitution or to our state of health, right? So there's that way of doing it. And then the other way that's cool is you can have chocolate once in a while, these kinds of things. I think it's nice to kind of humanize Ayurveda, this godly science of health and longevity. It's like, it is for the humans, right?
Yeah.
That have been your experience?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I started studying Ayurveda and got kind of deep into it, I quit a lot of things or cut a lot of things out of my diet. Think, you know, I can never have these anymore. And then, but over the years, I realized, yes, I can have them once in a while. They don't need to be a part of my everyday diet like maybe they were before.
Great, Jennifer. And what has been your experience? Like, how have you been able to dial in your lifestyle as far as getting up earlier or going to bed earlier? What's the process been like for you? Was it just like a certain trick that you learned from your studies, or was it more? Tell us about that.
So I think learning about the doshas and then learning about how the doshas affect different times of the day, and learning that if I would go to bed a little bit earlier, before 10 o'clock, say, that I would have no trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. So I guess just trial and error, starting to try that out. Oh, tonight, let's go to bed at 9 o'clock tonight, you know, and wow, I could fall asleep so easily, stay asleep, feel rested in the morning, rather than, you know, some other nights staying up till 11 or even just 10:30 or 10:15, and then realizing, oh, it's so hard to fall asleep now. It would take me so much longer. So I think just doing that over time, I realized, oh, well, it works. If I go to bed before 10 o'clock, I really have no problem falling asleep and sleeping well. The getting up in the morning, you know, was a little bit trickier, just, you know, slowly moving my wake time, maybe like 15 minutes each month or something, or each week, you know, 5-10 minute increments earlier and earlier until I started waking up, 6 or before. And then I started noticing, wow, if I'm up by 6 in the morning, I'm not really that tired, but if I sleep a little bit later till 7 or 8 or 10, I'm so tired when I wake up. I just started noticing how my body would feel. And so that was kind of the incentive to really stick to my early bedtime and early wake time, because the way my body felt, I felt way better.
That's neat. So it sounds like you entrained yourself through the knowledge, through the understanding, through having that right knowledge, and then slowly learning from your own self-study, what we call swadhyaya in the program, or in the yogic science, self-reflection, like kind of in training yourself over. It just happened a little bit naturally, it sounds like it was very natural, very graceful for you, which rightfully so, and we encourage that it should be that way. It should feel that easy, right? When we get the right information and start applying it in these little tiny habits, these little 1% shifts. So yeah.
Sometimes I sleep later, it's not, again, it's, some days I stay up late and I'll sleep in the next morning, and it's okay. But I do really notice that I'm tired, or it's hard to fall asleep those nights I stay up later. So yeah, just like you're talking about with food, same with daily routines. If I do these things every day, generally my energy level is pretty sustained as well. I don't have that energy dip in the middle of, or in the late afternoon anymore, like I used to. So
you used to have a dip, is that what you said?
Yeah, I used to get really low energy around 3, 4 in the afternoon, and just be exhausted. Right when it's time to make dinner and things, it would just be so hard. I just want to fall asleep, but I don't really have that anymore.
And what do you attribute that to? Is it also to the sleeping routine? It sounds like you're associating with that.
I think sleeping routines and just a regular daily routine. I think before I started Ayurveda, my daily routine was in flux. It wasn't I didn't have a regular daily routine. I didn't do the same thing every day and every morning, and have, get up and do the same thing every morning. And my self-care, I guess, to keep my energy steady throughout the day. So I think it has self-care is a component, my daily routine, and then eating habits.
Would you mind, Jennifer, and just briefly, you don't have to go into so much detail, it's obviously very personal what we're talking about here, but if you wouldn't mind just going briefly over your morning routine, I'm sure the community would appreciate just kind of hearing what's a typical day in the life of an Ayurvedi.
I get up usually just right before 6 or right at 6. I'll scrape my tongue, do oil pulling. I meditate, and before I meditate, I'll do like 5-10 minutes light stretching, and then I'll do about 5 minutes of pranayama, and then meditate, and then do abhyanga most mornings, and then, which is the Ayurvedic self massage, and then move on to making tea and breakfast and things like that.
Sounds like an incredible way to start the day, as we well know.
Yeah.
Favorite part of that morning routine, or does it shift from time to
time? Usually the meditation and the stretching. It's probably my favorite.
And do you do any of it? Oh, go ahead.
It just kind of gets me centered for the day, and it's just a nice way to start my day.
Cool. Do you do any of that before bed? Bedtime routine, any of that?
Before bed, I usually do Reiki on myself. I give myself Reiki before I go to sleep, and that kind of just transitions me right into sleep.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, so you had mentioned the pain in your lower back and hip and your shoulder, and what about, so you talked about your anxiety. Would you mind talking about what was that around, or what brought that on? What was it about, and how intense was it before you came to Ayurveda and Life Mastery, and how has it shifted and what shifted that for you?
When I started way back, I was recently divorced, single mother of 2 small children, kind of at a crossroads, had finished college, not really sure, what my next move was, and was doing a lot of yoga and saw about the Ayurveda school and the classes. So I just decided, well, I love yoga. I love what it's doing for my my soul and my body. So I started studying Ayurveda, not knowing that how much the Ayurveda was really gonna help me heal my soul, my body, more than the yoga. So I think it was just the anxiety of, having 2 small children to care for by myself, not really knowing what I was doing with my life at that time. And I think bringing in these self-care habits, rituals, learning how to really kind of cook food for the first time in my life. I'd never been someone who had been interested in cooking a lot. And so that was a really neat part, to be able to start cooking healthy, balanced meals for me and my children. And then I think just gaining all the knowledge through reading all the texts and kind of opening my world up to things like, or a deeper understanding of pranayama and aromatherapy and, yoga, doing yoga poses, but slowing the yoga down and really concentrating on your breath and different aspects of it. So I think all of that combined kind of slowed my life down, where I was kind of moving at a way higher pace and wasn't really giving myself time for self-reflection or self-care.
Great. So it sounds like you said that you healed your soul. You didn't realize how much Ayurveda was going to soothe your soul, both through the knowledge and the slowing down, and I guess we could say fine-tuning of the yoga, like the merging again of the sister sciences and how they enhance each other like hundreds-fold. So can you speak to us, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate. If it's not a divorce, it's a breakup. If it's not 2 kids, it's 1 or maybe 3. Like, where was your soul at prior to Ayurveda, and where is it at today? Like, let's just talk even before Ayurveda, what was going on with your spirit?
I just don't think I was really connected with it. Yeah, I just don't think I was really connected with it. I definitely feel more connected with my spirit now, and listening to what I need from my spirit and wanting to nurture it and grow. Where those things, I don't think they were just kind of in my peripheral before. I was just kind of going day to day, doing what I had to do. I think now I feel more of like a whole, complete person than before. I was kind of ungrounded in a sense. I definitely feel very grounded now.
Which is interesting, right? Because you said how you were doing a ton of yoga, but it sounds like, was it more asana and then it was faster, or maybe wasn't as mindful? Will you speak to that? What shifted? What brought this deeper?
Yeah, well, when I first started doing yoga, mostly after prenatal, after I had my children, it was straight to Bikram, hot yoga. Yeah, very fast, hot. And then I went into vinyasa because the heat started affecting me. I probably did it for like 3.5 years. And then I started getting vertigo when I went to class. And I was like, wow, I've been doing this for so long, 3 times a week. I can be in the hot room, no problem. And then all of a sudden it started, I just kept on getting dizzy and vertigo in class. So I realized maybe this isn't the best type of yoga for me. So then I found a vinyasa type class, which was great. I really enjoyed it, but very fast paced, you know, and I think it produced, you know, I would feel competitive in class, like, oh, I can do this pose, I'm going to do it this good, or, you know, it created that kind of nature in my mind in the class. And then after learning Ayurveda and kind of learning about like restorative yoga and actually like slowing down the yoga and not, you know, having the competitive mindset and just, you know, closing your eyes during yoga and just kind of going within. That's definitely how I prefer to practice, my yoga practice now. And I think it's just so key, the slowing down. It can really affect you on so many levels.
That's great, you know, and it's not to say, of course, as we both know, as we've both studied Ayurveda now, that Ayurveda doesn't promote faster asana or promote stronger breathing or promote, you know, even to be in a warmer environment for some people some of the times, right? So just kind of putting out a disclaimer there that, you know, for the right person, it can be medicine, like we learn in Ayurveda. For the right person, the same food could be a poison, it could be a medicine, it could just be an everyday food, right? So it really varies from person to person. So I think that's really great. That sounds like you really got a deeper ownership of what's right for you specifically. And then you started actually applying it. It's just like in Ayurveda, when we find the right herb or medicine or food for the person, in your case, the right type of asana and right type of mindset with the asana, then the medicine works instantly, right? So it sounds like you had that effect a little bit. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, definitely.
So you've talked a lot about your yoga experience, your massage, your self-massage, and how Ayurveda has shifted your health through that, both healing your soul, making you feel more connected, feeling your body, removing the pain, even giving you energy and, you know, preventing a slump in the afternoon. Is there anything else that I'm kind of missing on the physical level that Ayurveda has helped you to fine-tune on your health level of your body?
Oh, well, I used to have cold hands, cold feet. I used to be a person who was cold all the time. And doing the self massage and every day or daily, it definitely helps my circulatory system. So I I don't have the cold hands, cold feet all the time anymore. Where that was like, you know, I would have layers on. It would just be cold all the time. Not the case now. And I am older and things have changed in my life, but I definitely attribute a lot of the doing the massage every day and is helping my circulatory system with that.
Great.
And dry skin. I used to have a lot of dry skin. My skin's not as dry as it used to be.
So less dry skin, more hydration, more circulation, energy, sleep, all of that. So that's wonderful. What about, so we talked about some anxieties around your divorce. Since then, have you had, so obviously time heals and we move beyond these, but you've been with Ayurveda for many years now. So, and it's going to become a part of your life. It is who you are. And so is there other things that have come up just on the day-to-day level and an emotional level, and how has having the tools of Ayurveda or the knowledge of Ayurveda in your life affected you? Can you think of a specific situation or two that came up over these years where Ayurveda helped you emotionally?
I think meditation and mantra are key. Having that in my daily life, to have time to sit and reflect and work through some of these things have been great.
But nothing specific emotionally came up that you were working through that was like, I was so full of anger and then I did this, and, you know, these kinds of things. Because that's, you know, being the human beings that we are, this happens, you know, from time to time when we struggle and we have these emotionally challenging times. Have you ever had some of those come up? And then what tools did you, being with aromatherapy, my guess would be you might use a lot of aromas to work through some of that.
Yeah, I think definitely with the anxiety, I would work with the aromas a lot to help soothe my anxiety, which I still do. A lot of grounding essential oils I'll use in my daily. I mean, I've definitely dealt with anger issues and other things in my life. I'm trying to think of what.
Well, and let's talk about your anxiety and how do you use your oils for that, for general grounding? What advice would you give to the community when they're struggling with general ungroundedness and working with the essential oils? What's kind of your favorite way to use those?
Well, use it as like a roll-on your wrist, or anoint yourself so you can be smelling the scent all day. Or if you just need to calm yourself, maybe some calming oils you have in like a roll-on that you keep in your purse, and you can roll on your wrists, your neck, and just take some deep breaths and smell those scents to help you calm and ground yourself. Using diffusers in the household or at work with different oils is definitely a great thing that's worked with me. Even in my car, you can get them, little diffusers. In the bath, taking baths with, putting the essential oils mixed with salt or milk or something, and then using them in the bath has been a great way to calm, for anger or anxiety or just exhaustion, any of those things, or for circulatory, like if I was really cold and it was a cold winter day, I could put some like warming circulatory stimulant essential oils in the bath with me, mixed with salt or emulsifier or something, and then it helped my circulation and lift my spirits. It could be used for depression. The florals are great for that. So baths are definitely one of my treatments of choice at home to use.
Do you have a favorite grounding essential oil?
Vetiver is mine.
A lot of people's favorites for sure. Great. And just a disclaimer to the community, if you hear this and you're hearing about putting it in the bath and putting it on your body, please, we're not in any way teaching you how to do that here. You need to get outside education on how to do that. And hey, we happen to offer aromatherapy training for those that want to learn more, but this is not the time for that. So just putting that out there. Okay, great, Jennifer. So there's emotionally and physically some ways that Ayurveda has helped you over the years. What about, I know that you've really built a career around Ayurveda and you're continuing to grow your healing practice and your product line. Did you want to speak to us about the effect of Ayurveda in your realm of Dharma and career?
Yeah, so after I finished the program the first time, I started offering consultations, and then I learned the Panchakarma treatments, and the one that really stuck out to me was the Shirodhara. It just resonated with me, and I love to be able to offer that to people. So I started offering that. And then when I learned the facials, that was another thing that I was really interested in, facials, and I started offering the facials. So I do all three of those: consultations, facials, and the Shirodhara in my office, intermixed with Reiki and some sound. And then after I had my last child, I wasn't working in my office as much, and that's when I started making my Amrita products. And I started out with an oil pulling blend because I had suffered from early onset periodontal disease, which is the deep pockets, your gums receding around your teeth. And from my studies of Ayurveda, I knew that you could do oil pulling. It could help pull the toxins out of the gums and help with any kind of inflammatory gum disease. So I started making my own, and it became my first product, which is still one of my most popular products that I sell and make. And then I also have, like, aromatic spritzers that can be used to uplift the mood, a way to use the essential oils to change your mood, or during meditation. And it's just developed, I keep on developing new, either roll-on scents or facial serums now, because I started giving facials and I wanted to make something that I use every day, and that I could offer to my clients and then people in the community, which I've gotten great feedback on. That was the newest product that I've released. So it just keeps growing. More products are, coming to mind every day. So it's just finding the time to, test them, make them, and then get them out into the community.
Great, Jennifer. And I know you put a lot of love and energy into your products. I know you distill some of your own essential oils in hydrosols, for example. So that's amazing. So it sounds like from the massage program, Ayurvedic massage immersions trainings, you were able to start offering Shirodhara to the community. And then with the aromatherapy, you started creating your aromatherapy product line. And then you also, from the facials program, you started doing facials for a living. So like with each program, you've really added that into your career, so to speak, and enhanced your career in the way you were able to show up and support the community. What about the Ayurveda Life Mastery program? How has that shifted your career? I know you offer Ayurveda consultations and coaching sessions, but I'm curious, aside from your actual career, like how has the life coaching aspect of that program, or any part of that program, affected your relationship to your dharma and to your career?
So I think it's helped me in a lot of ways. It showed me a lot of things that I could use in my personal life as well as my business. Different things about creating time, or blocking time, just creating a schedule that works for me, and that we're actually, I'm doing more than I was before, because I've taken the time to schedule it all out. And it's a little tweaks to my schedule that I learned in the coaching program. The books about, my relationships to food, my personal relationships have been immense for me. Just learning these little ways how I react in my relationships, how basically I work with other people has been really eye-opening to me, and I'm trying to take it all to heart and actually change the way that change some things for the better that I've learned through this class, working on my personal relationships, and it's things are working. It's a slow process, but just learning different things from certain meditations or books that we've read or heard or worked on in class, and then applying those to my life have been really beneficial.
Great. So it sounds like not only your dharma, sounds like really your relationships, even business or otherwise, have been impacted more. Would you say that's pretty accurate then?
Yeah.
And how have they been affected? Like, how did you used to show up in relationships, and how do you now, or what shifted, I guess?
So learning communication styles and how to approach things when talking to your loved ones, or even your business colleagues. Finding my voice, which has not always been the easiest for me. And then relaying things in a way to other people that that are constructive and work and uh, I can't, I'm having a hard time finding the words for it, but I think I lost my train of thought there.
That's okay. We call it a Vata moment. No worries.
Yes. And it's Vata time, right?
High Vata time. What are we at? 4 p.m.? Oh Lord, yeah, 5 almost, 20 to 5. Yeah, perfect. But it sounds like you're finding your voice, finding your communication, opening your throat chakra, and what have the results been with your, your closest people, your core family and friends and things? What's been the shift, I guess, even if it's internal, what's shifted in the relationships?
I think my internal dialogue has changed some, where it's a little bit more positive, not so negative or judgy, as I feel like it has been in the past. And by me slowing down and thinking about what I want to say and how I want to say it, has really helped with the outcome of some of those conversations, I feel like. And has given me courage to stand up for myself or ask for something that I think I deserve, where that's always been a little difficult for me.
And how have the results been now that you've been standing up or voicing things and asked for things? How are you being received? How is that shifting your relationships, or is it? I'm curious.
It is. What?
I'm sure we all are.
Yeah.
Gotta know, Jennifer.
Yeah, it's good. Again, it's a slow process, but little steps where my partners, I never thought would be reading a book about love languages, and finding our love languages and sharing those things in our relationship, learning how to approach each other's love language, has read the book and knows mine, and, has tried to make attempts. We're trying to make attempts to work with each other's love language, which I thought would never happen in a million years. But so little things. With my teenage daughters, trying to just be open and supportive and loving towards them with what they're going through, and to keep the communication lines open, and it has been a struggle, but I feel like it's working because I'm taking the time and thinking about it, and talking to them in a way that's not attacking or coming at them, so it's different things I've learned from the books that we've been reading in class, actually.
Great, Jennifer. So a lot of the aside coaching information sounds like it's been as useful to you as the Ayurvedic information. And my guess is, since you'd already really focused on Ayurveda all the years previously, this coaching information being new to you, and the program is probably giving you a lot of transformation. And what I'm hearing is, this process of with your daughters right now, and also with yourself, or with your core family and loved ones, and then also with yourself, the Ayurveda / coaching has helped you orient your attention and be more present and aware of those areas, whether it was your own healing, whether it was breathing and going slower, with the asana, etc., or now even being mindful of, wow, I have relationships. They require communication. I'm gathering skill sets to be able to, it's just like anything in life, right? If we want to improve the quality of that thing in our life, we need to get skills. We need to up level our skill sets to meet the need. Otherwise, we bat our head against the wall. We just feel that experience of frustration. And so when the skill set isn't meeting the demand or the need, it's a type of depression, right? Like we talked about being in the flow is when we have the skill set and we're really challenged, but we're able to meet it because we have the skills needed. And again, this high, we just feel this flow. We're like, wow, life is on fire right now, So my guess is you might be feeling a little bit of that, since the challenge is there with the girls and their teenage years, and most parents, they might not have the skills or even the awareness that they need skills new skill set with this new age group at a very huge, important time in a person's life in their teenage years to help them to assimilate to the next level of their growth to the best of your ability. So you want to speak to that a little bit, or?
I guess speak how, I don't mean.
I guess is that accurate? It's like you Ayurveda and the coaching, it feels like to help you really be more present, to drop in and to focus on these things. Like you're taking the time to focus, to learn, to apply, to grow.
Yes, yes, definitely. I just feel like every time I study Ayurveda, I think I'm gonna learn different things, and then I actually learn so much about myself in the process of learning these other things. But it just helps me so much. And the community, the whole class, sharing and becoming vulnerable with people and being supported when you are vulnerable and feeling that the love and compassion. It's been a great experience.
I can feel it. Well, you've been such a blessing in my life and in the life of so many students in the institute, to the school over the years, and to your classmates and to your interns and to your community, the folks that you heal every day or support in the healing process every day. So we're grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you all these years, just being a partner in Ayurveda, a friend in Ayurveda with me, and for the school and for the students. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it is tender. It's very tender. Ayurveda, it's interesting, like you said, because there's a lot of students, I'm sure, and potential people, like they're on the outskirts of Ayurveda. Maybe they're in the yoga world like you were. Maybe they're in the herbalist or healing world or the aromatherapy world and the nutritionist world. They come from all different backgrounds. But what would you say, what would be a piece of advice for a student who is from, any of these communities, but they're having that same feeling of feeling like they want to jump into this group, they want to learn more Ayurveda, but they're feeling like, I just don't know if I can be with a group, I might feel too vulnerable. So because you mentioned this word vulnerable, and I think that's really an important thing when you're getting involved in a community that you can feel nervous about. Who are these strangers? They're strangers, and they might be strange strangers, and so there's a lot of fear around it. So I'm wondering if you have some advice for folks that are feeling a little anxious around joining the program for those types of reasons.
Well, I can say from experience that I've always been a little scared and nervous, and it takes me a long time to open up to people and to share a lot in groups. And most of my life, I've never really been one to be sharing too much with groups, and even really wanting to be a part of groups, communities, until I really had the experience the first time around with my Ayurvedic group of just feeling the closeness. You kind of dive deep into all these different things, from just all the different things Ayurveda has to offer. And I guess going through the experience with all these people naturally bring close together. And I've been with many different groups through the Institute's classes, from my beginning class that I went through 3 years with the same women, to joining different classes and meeting new people. And every time I've met people that I'm so grateful to have met and to share the experience with, and just always felt so nurtured that I guess I wanted to, I had less feelings of being vulnerable, or I guess I had the vulnerable feelings, but it was okay because I felt so supported in the class and the group each time. And I just, I would imagine it would be like that every time around. I don't know. I think it just brings people together.
Yeah, and we definitely have a very, I would say, we have a smaller school, so it does breed kind of a deeper intimacy, I would say. There is a deeper level of intimacy in getting to know each other, and so that's really, it's part of the beauty of the program. Now, if you were, what do you have to say to the students that are potentially on the fence? Like, I'm not sure if I want to take the program. What would you say to them as far as helping them to feel safer or whatever, to inspire them? Any last words?
I would say that I would say take the class. It's going to be life changing, and in so many ways. And it's just gonna. I mean, I've heard this before, and it's come up over my years of learning Ayurveda and being with different groups and having different teachers. And it seems that Ayurveda comes into your life when you need it. Like you find Ayurveda when it's time for you in your life to study it and find out all the gifts that it has. And I really believe that, because until that one day 12 years ago that I opened up the journal and saw Tracy's ad in the paper about the Ayurvedic program, I'd never known anything about Ayurveda before, just that it was related to yoga. And for some reason I was like, I think I need to take this class. And it really has changed my life in so many ways for the better. I mean, I used to smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke anymore. I used to drink a lot. I don't drink. I mean, I have a drink occasionally, but not like I used to. Again, the sleeping habits, the eating habits, my whole lifestyle in general has, I think, improved greatly. So.
Amazing. Well, you're an amazing testimony to the power of Ayurveda in one's life, even for somebody who was a seasoned yogi like you were already coming into it, how much Ayurveda sounds like it really transformed and up-leveled physically your health, your whole lifestyle, your sleep, helped you to get rid of all the fetters, we would say, you know, all the things that were kind of holding you back, drinking, staying out late, these kinds of things, smoking. So it shifted your relationships, sounded like even to yourself, and then of course to your loved ones, to life itself. So it's amazing. It's definitely, that's the power of Ayurveda. Do you have one favorite part of the Life Mastery program? Because this was the first time that you'd been through it as a new health and life coach training program, especially the life coaching aspect. But is there any part of the program, part or two or three, that really stood out? That's like, wow, that's where my transformation was. That really resonated with me, and what spoke to you?
I think definitely the learning about habits and habit stacking definitely, has helped, and it has created new habits in my life by using that, just that theory and applying it. Before this program, I had meditated here and there, always trying to start a regular practice of meditation and never really sticking, you know, sometimes going months without doing it, and sometimes doing it for months, you know, every other day or once a week or something. And so that was something I really wanted to initiate into my daily routine in my life. And through the habit stacking that we learned about, definitely, I have a regular meditation practice that I do most pretty much every, you know, six days, if not 7 days a week. So, and also I would say, from the coaching standpoint, or just anything in the class? Are you asking?
The habit evolution really supported you. You got a lot out of that. What else did you get a lot out of?
The relationships, learning your love languages, learning your how you react or talk with people. The relationship advice. And oh, the food, the relationship to food. And I'm still working on that. I think that's going to be something to work on for a long time. But, you know, looking at our relationship to food, and that's been a big one, I think, for me over my life, and trying to just really slow down, think about, be conscious, and also intuitive with my eating style.
Amazing. So you've got new relationships on all levels with food, with your loved ones, with yourself, with all of the different medicines and the lifestyle. So it sounds really like Ayurveda, and you've taken it in. It's become, you know, just a part and parcel of your way of life, your way of looking at life, and even now become a career for you. So good job, Jennifer. And you're really an inspiration to the students, to myself, to the community. So we're so lucky to have you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day-to-day to share with us all and let us get to know you more and your experience with Ayurveda and with the Institute and its courses. Do you have any last parting words that you would like to share with the community before we let you go?
Just I'm so thankful to have Ayurveda in my life and have Tracy in my life and the school with all the wonderful programs and everything that I've been able to learn and apply. And it ripples out into my family, to my friends, to my people I work with, you know. It's just really neat to see that happen. And hopefully it'll happen more. The more people that know Ayurveda just keep rippling out. So
we're spreading it like a soothing blanket over the community. So thank you, Jennifer, for joining in, for following your call, your inner GPS system to Ayurveda land. I'm so glad that you followed it to the school and into my life and for the community as well. So thank you so much, Jennifer. And please, we'll put links below where you can find Jennifer and find the classes and things we've been talking about. And we're going to do another smaller testimony with Jennifer too, so you can keep an eye out for that to find out more from her. And we will see Jennifer and see the rest of you in the next video. Thank you all so much and have a beautiful day. Bye, Jennifer.
okay.